Before the NBA playoffs began, Tyrese Haliburton was voted the most overrated player. However, this wasn't by fans, media, or even coaches, but by his peers, with 14% of 90 players picking him. And it makes sense. Haliburton went unpicked for the All-Star game, and their run to the ECF last year was dubbed as a fluke. So when the playoffs started, the heat was on.
That kind of eliminates the kick out.
And Haliburton did not crumble under the spotlight, establishing his name to be feared across the league.
Haliburton steps back and hits.
Overrate that.
But where did all this backlash come from in the first place? And well, the answer for that lies in the 2024 regular season. Last season, Haliburton and the Pacers had a breakout season. It started when they made it all the way to the finals in the NBA Cup, gaining Haliburton recognition across the league, doing it all while averaging a 20-point, 10-assist season that only few could ever accomplish. With this came Haliburton's first All-Star appearance. So by the playoffs, Indiana looked like a force to be reckoned with, starting strong, knocking out the Bucks with ease to go on to barely survive the Knicks in a rugged 7-game series. And versus the Celtics, they showed glimpses of a bright future. Yet Haliburton remained the vocal point for this young squad that accomplished what seemed to be impossible, reminding us all of the Pacers' glory days and what could be next if they keep stepping in the right direction. Despite all this, the media called this a fluke, saying the Pacers got lucky, or dubbing it as just some little Cinderella run. However, because of this magnificent run, Haliburton got picked for the Olympics. And although this seems like a positive, it wasn't. You see, when you're put together with all these GOATs, fans will tend to point the odd one out, and in this case, it was Haliburton. Regardless of Haliburton putting up pretty good numbers during the Olympics, the narrative wouldn't change, setting him and the Pacers up for the following season. Siakam made an All-Star appearance. They drastically improved on the defensive end, and to top it all off, they punched their ticket into the first round of the playoffs. Nonetheless, the league still treated the Pacers as frauds with the overrated leader. Going into round 1 versus Milwaukee, the Pacers were doubted on, but that would all soon change. The Pacers started off game 1 strong, taking an early lead and not looking back. Haliburton's timely passes to a hot Siakam and crafty moves to the basket played a major role in the Pacers taking game 1. And in game 2, the Bucks made costly turnovers that led to easy fast break buckets for Indiana, pulling away with game 2 as well. However, when the Bucks got home court, it was a whole different story. With multiple threes and runs, the Bucks stole the third game, but soon after, the Pacers hit the ground running. Game after game, the narrative grew less and lesser. All the people saying the Pacers' run last season was a fluke seemingly turned into clowns. So by the time game 5 came around, it was a must-watch for fans across the league, and it did not disappoint. The Pacers played well, but Giannis and the Bucks played even better, thus forcing it to OT, and things did not look good for the Pacers. Gary Trent absolutely demolished them in OT with a barrage of threes. Having a 7-point lead with under 40 seconds left in OT, the Bucks completely fumbled. The exact next play, Nembhard made a 3 to cut it to 4.
Nembhard with a 3. Good.
And on the other end, Haliburton helped to force a steal, following up with an and 1.
Haliburton attacking, and the foul.
The stadium erupted, so after a bad play on Milwaukee's end, Haliburton took full control, dismantling the Bucks' defense, driving to the hole to snatch the game. Haliburton went on to stay on the scorer's table and establish his name among the best in the league. But their next challenge was the most difficult yet. The Cleveland Cavaliers with experience, depth, and defense looked 10 times better than the Pacers on paper. However, when it got to the real deal, it was a whole different story. In game 1, the Cavs started off strong, but the Pacers would soon chip away a comeback, taking game 1 on the road. In game 2, the Cavs learned from their mistakes from the previous game, but the Pacers would eventually come back in a thriller. However, when the Cavs finally won their first match of the series in game 3, it was too late. The Pacers had already figured out the Cavs, and that's when the momentum completely switched. Haliburton orchestrated the offense with his dishes to players like Siakam and Nembhard, and with that, they took home the next game. But in a must-win game for Cleveland, the Cavs dominated. Having a 19-point lead and looking hungrier than ever, it was looking like the Cavs would extend the series to 6, until Haliburton went on a 22-point tear, going on a 54-24 run. Haliburton scored 31 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds, winning the series in 5. Looking back, it's unbelievable how Tyrese Haliburton has rewritten his narrative in less than a month, going from the NBA's most overrated player to a certified legend. His dominant performances, playmaking, and clutch scoring have silenced the doubters and ignited the Indiana Pacers' run. This rise has not only redefined his game, but has also etched his name among the NBA's elite, punching his ticket to a must-watch ECF. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe. It would be much appreciated.